All right. Welcome to the Way to a Great Marriage Cast. I'm Tony. This is LaRonda.
Hello.
And LaRonda has picked out a song that her mother Omi wrote many years ago, and she's going to read or sing that at this time. And so here is LaRonda, and this is dedicated to Omi.
Yes, I'm going to be singing it tonight instead of reading it. This is called I Want to See Jesus. I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. I can see all the saints gathered round that throne. I'll just fall down on my face and thank him for his grace. I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. I want to see his blessed face and thank him for his grace. The love he has I cannot understand, but when I see him over there, his blessings he will share. He'll tell me all about it, won't that be grand? I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. I can see all the saints gathered round the throne. I'll just fall down on my face and thank him for his grace. I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. What a happy time over there in that land so bright and fair, where the roses never fade, will die no more. He'll have his arms open wide when I get to the other side. I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. I can see all the saints, they're gathered round the throne. I'll just fall down on my face and thank him for his grace. I want to see Jesus first of all when I get home. That was inspired by the Holy Spirit, written by Alma Shepherd, 8/27/1992.
Is that on your album?
Yes.
That's why I know it. I
Yeah.
thought you just sung that song. Right?
No, it's on my album. Thank you, Mom, for that wonderful song, and Jesus for giving it to her.
Okay, so tonight, who sent this? Oh, Les and the Symbios people. Oh, hey, Bailey.
Hi, Bailey.
You're forgiven.
What, for last night?
No, because she hasn't been on for a couple of months.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the like.
We've missed you.
And so our Symbios couple, Les and Leslie, that I parrot, that I do the Symbios assessments for couples for. If you want your Symbios assessment done, contact me and I will do a Symbios assessment for you. I think it's like $35 for them to do a Symbios assessment.
It's really neat, though.
It is neat. It teaches you.
Yeah.
It teaches you how the other person fights.
Right.
What to expect whenever they fight you.
Woo.
Is one of the things, at least.
And you're really hoping that never happens, but just in case.
No, you will.
Just in case.
I forgot. There's a thing that couples that never fight, they don't
really have true love.
They don't really have a relationship, I guess.
Yeah.
So how do I keep my spouse from staring at the opposite sex? Is the subject tonight.
I just don't pay attention unless they look too long. And then I punch them.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Can you stop your spouse from staring at the opposite sex? We're not going to do this tonight.
No, sit down.
It's a pretty common problem among couples. One spouse spots an attractive person and they have a hard time looking away. What can you do to put a stop to that? Is it even possible? It can feel threatening for your spouse to notice another person's appearance, but it's a part of nature.
Yeah.
We enjoy beauty, and as a human, you're going to notice an attractive person from time to time. So how should we handle that? And so I guess they're going to go into that, but I do have a story for you. I have an X story for everything.
He has so many exes. He's got so many stories. He can, like me with my songs.
I had this ex that was so meticulous about this that if a woman walked in the room, I was like, oh no. It's kind of like they made a movie where it was a Kid Rock. It was in that movie where the waitress comes to the table and he calls over the manager. He says, "Get me another waitress."
Yes, I remember that. I don't
Are
know
you
woman.
kidding me? I'm here with my wife on a date, and you send her over for my waitress. Anyway, and so it was almost that bad. We would drive by. We'd drive down through town, and at Berea College campus.
Look out on Berea College.
She would reach over and hit me and say, "Stop looking at her." And I said, "Well, you didn't hit me for looking at the guy just a minute ago."
Well, the thing about it is, it draws your eye because you'll see a girl with booty pants on and a hooker looking hose with her honey hanging out. I'm gonna look.
And they got holes in them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody looks.
You can't help it. You're like, really? Really?
And so I had to do a lot of healing from that. I had to come to realize that there's nothing wrong with observing beauty. Usually it was a woman's hair. I've come to learn.
He loves women's hair.
Well, no, it's not that I love women's hair.
No,
I just know
pretty.
From another ex-wife how much it costs to do hair like this.
Like this.
$200.
$200.
If you went to a salon and had it done, probably more. I've paid as much as $300.
Have you really?
Well, it's $200 and some odd dollars.
But that was including product. You said.
Yeah.
Now that I remember,
product. There was some.
But now there's a salon in Rich.
But so whenever that a woman, let's not go on a rabbit trail of salons.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, you said how much it costs. The lady told me yesterday that for a cut and a color at the salon in Richmond, $350 for a cut and color. No, that's highway robbery.
And so whenever I see somebody that has a beautiful hair, I'm like, oh, they've spent a lot of money on that.
Unless you're a hairdresser.
I'm not like, I like it. I'm actually offended that they spent that much, $350 on a head of hair. Why in the world? Why couldn't you just left it the way it was? But anyway, so and so I realized it did that, and so and in the thing of it is there's nothing wrong with looking. It is whenever that you start lusting, and if you continue looking, or if you look back, So I will usually, you look, you notice, and then you look the other way.
Absolutely.
Kind of like what that I told you. I caught the guy. I've talked about this on the Waycast. I caught this guy on Berea College. I used to go over there and set up with a cooler of nabs and cold water, and ask the college students if they wanted something to eat or drink. And that was the way that I knew if they were open to talking about Jesus. Well, I was sitting there at the crosswalk one day, and this professor walks up. He's waiting to cross, and so I saw this girl, and I was looking in the opposite direction from her, and it happened to be in his direction, and he was watching her walk away, and so he saw me catch her, him watching her, and he said, "You're not allowed to stand there." I said, "I'm on the sidewalk. It's public property.
Exactly.
Just get over it." But anyway. But
What's Bailey saying?
I love seeing people trying to get my red color and get mad when they can't get it without spending lots of money.
Yeah.
And so we should be happy with what we have. But the point is there's nothing wrong with looking at beauty. It is whenever that you stare, or whenever that you start thinking of what you could do with that beauty. And that's where I get into what I call female porn. The
Hallmark.
Hallmark channel. I call it female porn because it makes a woman wish that
her husband was
like him, or
oh, I wish
or
you
that
would
kind
give
of
me
thing.
flowers once a week. I
Yeah,
wish
I
you
know.
would kiss me passionately every day, all the time. You know, no, we were talking about what we look at men,
So-
on their bodies, and we look at a man's arms most of the time,
Right.
and like my big handsome guy's arms, or we look at their smile.
And then some women I've been told look at their shoes.
Never
They,
looked
they
at
say
shoes.
if they have nice shoes, nice clean shoes,
They're a clean person?
That tells you a lot about
That
them.
is not true. No. I was married to a clean freak, but was a slob. So no, that's not true.
And so the question is it noticing or staring? There's a difference between noticing somebody's appearance and
Yeah.
staring in an uncomfortable way. If your spouse's attention lingers on an attractive person
Yeah.
for too long, it's understandable why you might feel uneasy. For instance, a man might be captivated by a beautiful woman walking by, or a woman might feel attracted to a handsome man. The question is, how do they handle the natural urges to look? There's a difference between admiring a beautiful garden and coveting it, or going and picking the tomatoes out of it.
That's right, stealing a piece of corn.
Likewise, acknowledging is not
Give me that.
the same as ogling.
Oogling. Like
There's-
oogly googly.
There's only one O.
Oogly
There's not two
googly.
O's there. So one of the
Ogling.
things that really that helped me with this too was Dr. Stein in 2013 got me to start going to Pulaski County Detention Center with him to take over his 40-year ministry. And so we were in the processing room, which had windows next to the front desk. And so whenever they brought somebody into book, you could see them while we were doing the church service. So he said, don't look at whoever they're processing, because then it will pull the guy's attention away from what it was, and it usually did anyway, especially whenever they were processing a female. And the guys hadn't seen a female for
a long time.
For a long
Couple
time.
months.
And so I learned. I sat, on the wall with my back to the window.
To the door. Yeah.
And then whenever the guys started looking, I didn't turn around and look and see what they were looking at. And
Mark Sarver from the pulpit, which is my cousin, but was our pastor for a long time. He said, "There's nothing wrong with looking, but it's when you start entertaining the thoughts that start going through. Oh, I wonder how she would kiss, or I wonder how if he would wrap his arms around me."
And what you're really seeing here is the spouse's, the jealousy of that spouse is their uncomfortableness with themselves.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with them as a person. And they, so there's been times I've been saying, she has a beautiful haircut.
Yeah.
I
bet that's $100 haircut.
I bet that's $100 haircut.
I was like, yeah, probably.
I hate to be the person that has to pay for that every month.
Oh, but see, what he's not telling you is
it's
I'm a
bad enough I got to pay for nails.
What he's not telling you is I'm a hairdresser along with my cousin. And we trade, so he don't have that $250, $350. As long as thick as my hair is, it would probably be $350, $400 for my hair.
True. Yeah,
But now,
I forgot it's based upon length.
it is, and thickness. I have much, because I'm a hairdresser, I know. But I was going to tell, so one of the people that Tony used to be with, he couldn't even speak to a woman at church.
And this is another person we're talking
Yeah,
about.
a different one.
I wasn't allowed to talk to women.
At church.
We had somebody walk up to the rehab and was talking to the guys, and the guys knew. Well, she was with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And the guys were like, "Get out of here! You gotta leave! No, get out of here!" Whenever that my wife pulled up and was parking, and so she let me have it when she was gone. What is a woman doing here at the rehab? I mean, she was outside in the street.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
What in the world?
we got a commercial break. It looks like.
Wow. I've never seen that happen before. Have you?
No, it looks like we. Oh, that's another. Is that another commercial break?
I don't know. We're looking at my phone right now, and it's like it went off of our Wakecast. So I don't know. But while Tony's fixing that, all I meant to say is, if you have to be so jealous, now forget about the rehab, but if you have to be so jealous of your wife or your husband that they can't speak to someone at church, something's wrong. And we're over our Celebrate Recovery, and Tony talks to gals all the time. We tell the gals at church, at our Celebrate Recovery, that women discuss things with women and men discuss things with men. And I mean, that's just how Celebrate Recovery is. But that doesn't mean you can't say, "Hi, how are you doing?" or shake their hand or whatever, So.
Well, it was to the point where I had to tell the last Celebrate Recovery I started. I told the husband, I'm not going to talk to your wife. I will tell you everything.
Oh, wow. That was weird.
For my small group leader.
Yeah, that's weird.
To deal with my small group leader.
I don't know.
So
I just don't really agree with that. I understand there's a fine line that you have to draw sometimes.
I was taught, we have 10 commandments of Celebrate Recovery.
Right.
And one of those, part of those are, you don't be alone with a woman of the opposite sex. I was trained, like whenever you're counseling a woman, you leave the door open so your secretary
or you have another woman in the room with you.
Or your wife
That's right.
can come and go
Yes.
as they please. They may not be able to hear the confidentiality, but they can definitely come and go and see that nothing's happening.
Absolutely.
You don't give rides to somebody of the opposite sex.
No.
You're not alone in a car.
No.
This is
No.
good dating advice too. Don't be alone in a car with somebody of the opposite sex. You don't text or phone call. I still carry that on. Like the girls that Celebrate Recovery. LaRonda messages the girls. I message the guys.
Absolutely.
And so we do have some boundaries there.
We do
to protect each other, but by and large, if somebody walks up and starts talking to me at Celebrate Recovery and wants to know about Celebrate Recovery or something like that, I don't just
you don't say get out of here.
Well, I guess I could say here, let's go find my wife.
Yeah, but you have before.
Right.
He sent, and I'm not even going to cut in on this as far as my Facebook goes. I got a Facebook invite from a person from our church, and I asked Tony about it because I don't think you should even do that. I don't even do that, and he said no, that's fine, because this person they're a good Christian, they pray, and it's not like a private thing. It's just coming on and sharing things with you, I don't really love Facebook.
Well, Bailey
anymore.
said that she was in a relationship where he couldn't handle her hugging people or hugging my brother. Like Mark hugs everybody. I mean, you're a hugger, I'm a hugger.
Mark's sideways. If it's a woman, though.
Yes.
He does a sideways hug.
Yes,
he doesn't do a frontal hug.
True.
So you have to be careful with that.
Right. There
Or they'll take it wrong.
There are ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Where it's,
or he'll pat somebody and say, "How you doing, sis?"
Right.
And not a full hug.
Right.
Like we do.
So
we do.
There are ways of doing it that are more appropriate. Yes.
Yeah. So that's just helping. We're just telling you things that husbands and wives go through, and don't have the jealousy unless something makes you like of an affair or things like that. Then it's like, then it makes you that way. But then that can be taken care of too. It's another podcast, another day.
does your spouse comment on others' appearance? It can be unsettling for your spouse to make comments about people they find attractive. The question is, what's the nature of these remarks? Ooh, she has a nice
That's bad.
Noting that someone has a great smile. Where was your mind? Or sense of style could be harmless.
Right.
And so they're friendly. Too friendly.
Too friendly.
On the other hand, if your spouse compares that person to you or makes inappropriate comments about them, that will damage your intimacy. It's hard to feel connected when your spouse is preoccupied with the way someone else looks. That naturally erodes your sense of self-confidence and makes it difficult to trust. And what we usually do is the person's usually reminding me of somebody from my past,
right?
And later, and you will say you need to stay away from that person.
Yes.
Not because I won't say anything, but we have that agreement. I know that if anybody reminds me of anybody from my past, run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, from your past, exactly. Run, Forrest, run. Get out of here.
Oh, she said that he freaked out when Pastor Mark hugged her.
Really?
Yeah. If you have a chat with your spouse, keep an open line of communication is so important in marriage. It's especially crucial for conflict resolution. If your spouse is staring is causing you to feel upset and uncomfortable, it's time to have a chat with them. Lovingly explain how much they mean to you and how it makes you feel when you notice them staring at the opposite sex. You could try saying something like, I love you and I'm committed to our marriage, but when I notice you staring at other people, I feel sad and uneasy. I worry I might not be enough for you. Actually, Stop Walking on Eggshells says don't use the word but, use the word and. So it would read like this: I love you and I am committed to our marriage, and when I notice you staring at other people, I feel sad and uneasy and I worry I might not be enough for you. Because the but can be a trigger for people to say, oh, here comes the
here comes the lowdown.
Delivery. You know, you're building me up with this love and all this, and now you're going to really
knock me down.
Mm-hmm. You know, and one of the things, you know, I've heard people complain about this before. You know, my husband, you know, wants the waitress up and down whenever that she walked by. Well, it's natural whenever somebody walks by you to see who it is.
And look down at their hind end.
Well, or look down at their feet.
Most of the time, hind end. And that's been everybody I've ever seen or been with. You look at them, and then you look at their butt, and then you look on down. I mean, that's what men do. It really truly is.
It's a natural thing to do. But
check them out.
But if it continues, and it could be about developing habit to look away. You know, if they are attractive, that's what I do. Is I look away. I look somewhere else. Squirrel.
You do not.
What?
You don't say squirrel, do you?
Oh, in my head.
Oh, in your head.
Squirrel.
I was going to say, I've never heard you say squirrel.
All the time.
No, I've seen you look away. I really have. I've seen you look away. I'm like, well, you know, if you check, I told Tony, I said,
and so it's about developing a habit to do that. If you find yourself starting to look at somebody inappropriately, woo, okay.
No, I mean, I told Tony, I said, I know if a woman's good looking. You know, I know she's got pretty hair and pretty teeth, pretty face,
especially,
pretty butt.
If her shorts are hanging up halfway up her butt. I'm like, okay.
Okay, then.
Where's the
moon,
this is a nice pattern on our wall.
The moon is out. The moon is out. No, I mean, this is really funny. Me and Tony laugh about everything.
And then she gets up and goes and talks to him.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I do.
Finally, but she's actually, you've never done that whenever I've been with you. I
No.
mean, there was that one girl at the summit that you talked to that was around me.
Oh, yeah.
But you
She
you
was
haven't
pretty.
actually done it while I've been with you.
No.
And
No,
so,
no, no, no.
you know, you've done that
No.
when her brain's been with you. But,
Yeah, yeah,
but anyway, finally,
yeah.
make a plan for how to handle these situations in the future. That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
you know, look, you know,
Squirrel.
they call it eye bouncing. I think is what they call it. You boing, boing, boing,
Boing,
boing.
boing,
You never
boing.
settle on one thing, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but in teaching men who struggle with actually struggle
No,
with
sit down.
lust,
Sit down.
they teach them to bounce their eyes.
Go. Go.
It could help to lay down some ground rules for when you find someone attractive. Will you acknowledge it in good humor? Run, Forrest, run.
Run.
If I
Don't
find
stay.
somebody attractive, then I need to run, Forrest, run.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Don't linger.
Will
No
you
lingering.
choose to look away instead? So that's what I'm talking about, bouncing your eyes.
Yeah.
The answer depends on your comfort level and what works best for you. If you or your spouse needs to overcome a staring problem, focus more on one another will pay dividends. And so,
See.
and so that's the end of this. They have a book that they're promoting, and since I'm reading their article, I'll tell you about this. Making Happy is the title of their book that they're promoting. So it's the Symbios Assessment. It's Dr. Les and Leslie Parrott.
Les and Leslie.
Right. And so with that is our Waycast, basically.
That was good. That was. I mean, that needs to be talked about because this is a marriage cast.
Right.
And I
Well,
have a great marriage.
Well, you need, rather than, quit looking at her.
Yeah, slapping them.
Slap and, being abusive over it, or is have a communication about it. You know what was going on. It's okay if you want to look. If you find yourself looking at somebody, but then just bounce your eyes.
Well, I would say this. I would say, babe, yeah, she was pretty. Let's go this way. That's what I usually do. I would never hit or go.
It was in the same movie where his friends would angle themselves so they could talk to their wives so they could watch
Yes.
the woman walk away.
Yes, I remember it. I remember. Yes. So don't do that. Most of the time, do not do that.
But
That would not be
some
good.
men are like that. I mean, and I think that women think all men are like that. That they are like sailors that just got off the ship. I remember my mom was talking about her brother. They went to go pick him up. He was on a ship in Pearl Harbor that got sunk out underneath him.
Wow.
And they went and picked him up, and she said on the way home, every red light we stopped at, he hung his head out the window and go, woohoo, woohoo, shake it in or whatever. But anyway.
Bailey said something else, I think.
Yeah, okay.
What'd she say?
It's time for Bailey to stay single.
Oh. That's okay. Sometimes we do,
anyway, follow Bailey's example and comment. Bailey, follow her example.
Yes,
in commenting.
thank you, Bailey.
But as questions, if you ask a good enough question, we'll take it up on the next Waycast. We may make a whole Waycast about your question. We'll also take up your comments as well. Then
Subscribe.
Subscribe, because all of our content isn't necessarily seen. Sometimes it's hidden by YouTube because YouTube isn't the truth tube. It's so they don't like truth, and so they may hide our content. And so we ask that you subscribe so you can see all of our content, even if it's hidden. Then thanks to Bailey, I learned that little trick.
Yep.
And then
Hit the ding-a-ling.
hit the ding-a-ling for
Ding, ding,
notifications so you can come on and harass us live
Yes.
and in person. Then share.
Yeah.
I've been asking everybody to pin to our top of our YouTube channel is the Against All Odds podcast, Waycast.
Yep.
And I recommend that you share that. Especially, you're probably thinking of somebody right now that you know that doesn't know Jesus as their personal Savior.
Yes.
So,
Help us, Lord.
pray for them first. Watch the Against All Odds Waycast so you can answer their questions. If they come back to you, of course, they can make comments and ask questions in down below that Waycast, and I will answer them personally. But other than that, basically send them that Waycast and beg them to watch it.
Yes,
I believe it's
great.
a good evangelistic tool. So I think that covers everything.
Yep.
So with that, Latin Autor has left us alone for the last couple of days. And so I guess they learned they don't own Lawrence Welk.
No.
Lawrence Welk owns Lawrence Welk.
He owns Lawrence Welk.
He died 50 years ago or something. But
thank you for Lawrence Welk for this wonderful song.
And so this is dedicated to Lawrence Welk, and so we want to say to you, good night, until we meet again. Adios, au revoir, I've given name to you. And now it's always sweet sorrow to part. You'll know you'll always remain in my heart. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bugs bite. Here's a wish and a prayer that every dream comes true. And now till we meet again. Adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Good night.
We love you.
And don't ever forget, you are truly loved.
Friends, there you have our show. Hit songs and patience through the